Hey everybody, it's Amy from My Learning Garden. I just started a YouTube channel for primarily Oregon gardeners. So today we are going to talk a little bit about who I am, why I'm doing this, what my motivation is behind it. And then we're going to check on my seedlings because they are really growing and it's pretty exciting. So a little bit about myself. And I'm going to tell you a little story just so that you can kind of help me possibly name this channel. I started out calling it the Oregon Learning Garden. I had some feedback from family and friends on, what is it about? What am I doing? And last year I decided that I wanted to start gardening. It's something that is kind of near and dear to my heart. I was not born with a green thumb at all. My mom, however, was an amazing gardener. I unfortunately lost her about 3 years ago, and what an amazing gardener she was. When we were younger, we had little vegetable gardens and small things like that, but never really understood the gardening. Again, don't have a green thumb, but Mama sure did. And my mom had a knack for saving every sickly little plant that she could find. But we used to always laugh that my mom could literally stick a dry stick in the ground and you would have a tree. So I felt like I kind of wanted to carry on her legacy and start gardening for myself and for my family, trying to eat better and fresher, and so I wanted to start gardening. So last year I decided, let's do this. So I did countless hours on Pinterest and on YouTube, and what I found really interesting was that I couldn't find anything for the Pacific Northwest, and it is a beautiful area. I myself am in Oregon and I'm in gardening zone 8B, and I really struggled with trying to find things for my area. What do I plant? When do I plant it? Everybody always says the Pacific Northwest is like the best place that you can grow. But everything that I was watching on YouTube, talks about, certain times that you're supposed to garden. When are you supposed to start your seeds? Do you direct sow? I didn't know what any of this was. So again, spent countless hours on Pinterest and on YouTube trying to figure everything out. And so last year, being a strong, independent girl that I am, decided I'm going to build a garden box. I talked to my husband and said, he doesn't like mowing the lawn anyways in the backyard, so I decided I'm going to take out the entire backyard. And we have a really big backyard, and we have a really large pool. And so I convinced him that we were going to tear up all of the grass. He wouldn't have to mow anymore, and I was going to build raised garden beds. So I have no experience with building whatsoever. I have no tools for building, but my husband does. And for Christmas, my oldest son got me my own screw gun, because anybody who knows me and knows me well knows that I can do it. I want to at least try to do it. I don't do it well. I usually end up needing help. So they got me my own drill gun. My husband set me up with all of his saws and stuff that I would need for cutting. And of course, everybody said, hey, can I help you? I'm like, no, I can do it. If you can do it, I can do it, and I can do it better. No, that's not always the case. So I got all set up and ended up going to Lowe's and picking up a 6-foot cedar fence. And I thought, I'm not good with these electrical tools. I want to make as minimal cuts as possible. So I did 6x3 garden boxes and used 2x4s to put them together. And the first box, because I wanted to do everything all by myself, I was supervised with my first couple of cuts, so I was pretty much safe. But I did the first box in about an hour and a half, and I was really shocked. I was really disappointed and thought, this is ridiculous. My husband or my boys, they'd be able to whip this out with no problem. Am I going to ask for help? Nope, not this girl. So my son was very helpful and told me that there are things on a drill gun that make the screws go in faster, and I didn't have that part turned on. So he got me set up, and hi-ho, here I go to Lowe's again, picking up more fencing. And the plan was that I was only going to do 2 garden boxes. And then as, next month I would do a couple of more and then a couple of more. Well, again, anybody who knows me and knows me very well knows that it is not easy to stop me once I get an idea in my head, and that's exactly what happened. Was I wanted it done, and I wanted it done not now, but right now. So over a course of 2 weekends, I ended up building 12 raised beds that are all 6x3. I was so proud of myself because I really did do it all by myself. Now, they're not exactly plumb or square. I mean, they're just a rustic garden box, and it's amazing. I did it by myself, and I felt very proud for that. So then it came time to fill them with dirt. We had a local yard that does rocks and soil, and I found an actual vegetable gardening mix that had compost already mixed into it, and was able to get that for $30 a yard. And so I pulled up the truck, started shoveling dirt, and realized only after 2 yards and only filling up 2 boxes that this was going to take a lot of dirt. So I got creative and ended up using the leftover hay bales from a Halloween party to fill the bottom foot of the boxes. Super happy to get rid of that straw or hay bale, because let me tell you, when you get straw for a Halloween party, you're going to have it until the next Halloween party. So I was pretty excited to put that in the box and bury it. And it's already composted down. In a year, it's composted down, and the soil is amazing. There's a ton of worms. But get back to the story. So ended up, I think I ended up with 7 yards of dirt, and a very severe injury because, again, stubborn me, who feels like I have to do everything on my own, was trying to shovel all this dirt by myself. And I had one of my good friends came over when I had 5 yards delivered to the driveway and dumped. I asked her, because she kept saying, "Can I help?" "No, I'm good." Well, I wasn't good. So she came over and helped with the last yard or so. And I thought I was fine. I was just tired because shoveling 5 yards of dirt is not the easiest thing to do. Well, I wasn't just tired. I ended up tearing 2 tendons in my arm, and had months and months of physical therapy. Was that going to stop me? Nope, not this girl. I built my boxes. They were filled with dirt, and I am ready to plant. And so I went back down to Lowe's, started getting little starts, just regular garden store starts, and started planting out the garden. And I had started some seeds, not having any idea what I was doing. Tried to start things indoors. They sprouted, they were good, but they weren't like the ones that you would get from the store. I had an amazing garden last year, and it really was by trial and error and the things that I had gathered on YouTube and on the internet, and Pinterest. And so this year I'm going to actually weigh all the tomatoes and everything, because I have no control, and I kept buying plants, and I did have that knack from my mama that, that poor little plant's sickly, and they discounted it for only $1. You better buy it. I ended up with 38 or 39 tomato plants. Let me tell you, not only did I learn to garden, but I also learned to can last year, and I still don't think that I'm going to need to buy tomato sauce or salsa for another year. Is that stopping me from growing more tomatoes? I have, in my little lighting system, I was only going to do a few. I think I have 30 seedlings again, but that's okay. I have lots of boxes for them. So again, the purpose of the videos is I want to help inspire other gardeners who are in my area, in Oregon, in the Pacific Northwest, because there wasn't information out there, and I learned things on my own. I didn't know what a cold weather crop was. Collard greens. We love collard greens. I wanted to grow them. Well, I planted them in, I think, June from seed. They actually sprouted, which was pretty amazing. But I didn't know that was a cool weather crop. And here in Oregon, in my area, our spring, it's a very mild climate. So our spring can be anywhere from 50 degrees to 75 degrees. We have rain, we have cold, it's cloudy, or it's sunny. So it's like really awesome weather because it's nice and cool to me. Coming from California, 75 degrees that's cool weather. You know, it's like in the spring there, it's 100 degrees, you know, or more. So cool to me was 75 degrees. Collard greens, they didn't grow so well, but they grew, and I actually ended up leaving them in there, and by fall they were amazing. And let me tell you, there is nothing better than walking in your backyard and picking dinner. It was just, it kind of blows my mind that I was able to do that. So this channel is going to be about inspiring you to just try. I don't have a magic formula of what's going to work, what's not going to work, what to plant, when to plant it. I was actually having a conversation with a friend from work, and he and his wife had the same questions, and we're not finding things from our area on YouTube that says, you know, plant your peas at this time. So we're learning. And if you want to join me, you know, go ahead and like and subscribe the videos, subscribe to the channel, and we can learn together, because I clearly didn't learn my lesson last year. I have collard greens growing indoors under lights, but it's cool. I mean, it's 45 degrees right now, so maybe they'll grow. I don't know. But that's the fun of gardening, is not knowing and being so pleasantly surprised when things literally start growing. You know, the tomato plants that I had last year, and pickles, oh my goodness. I had so many cucumbers, and my family loved all the pickles that I had put together. Canned a bunch of pickles, which again, learning, you know, so I'm learning to garden, I'm learning to can, I'm learning how to, you know, provide for my family. And it's a really awesome feeling when my husband comes home and says, those spicy dill pickles were the best thing I've ever had. So now I have, I think, 8 pickling plants or seedlings that are started now, and they are doing pretty stinking amazing. So I think my question to you out there, if you are watching, is what would be a good name for the channel? My brother had a great suggestion. I garden. I have a lot of little hobbies, but one of my new hobbies is I bought a Harley. I have a Sportster, and it is a blast. I'm loving it. And so then I do gardening. So my husband thought, or my brother thought, it would be a really fun channel if I called it OMG Oregon Motorcycle Gardener, which I think is really cute. I think that could be fun. But I just want these videos to, again, inspire you to learn and experiment. And even if you do one box or one pot, one of my favorite things that I got last year also was Smart Pots. It's a black fabric pot, and I have those all over the yard too. So not only do I have the 12 raised garden beds, I have a lot of Smart Pots. And when it's not raining, it's Oregon, it's going to be raining for a while, but when it's not raining, I will do a tour of the yard or see if I can find some pictures from last year of how much real estate I have for the gardening. But I'm curious to find out what would be a good name for the channel. Again, I always thought, last year, you know, I did one video for my family and friends and said, you know, it's my learning garden. It's Amy's learning garden. Because I'm learning every single time, you know, what's going to work, what's not going to work. What do you use for support? You know, when they call them pole beans, they're pole beans for a reason. Those babies will just, you know, grow. I mean, they were 8 feet tall. So, give me some ideas of what would be a catchy name for the channel. So right now I'll leave it as Amy's Oregon Learning Garden, which to me is not catchy at all. But it kind of is what it is. So, let's check on the seedlings, because I do know that they need a little bit of water. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what my setup was, and take this out and see. Something else that I learned was when you do a video, don't turn the camera to multiple directions to show different angles, because it makes people sick and they don't like that. So the lighting is a little bit off, but want to show you what the seedlings are doing. And I don't know how to turn the camera around, so I'll do my best. So these are the tomato seedlings. It's a whole tray of tomatoes. And when I talk about, you know, we're going to start seeds, and I might do that in another video, kind of go over what I use as far as starting the seeds and how I do that. I found it really interesting that I have a bunch of tomato plants. I mean, they're just let me tell you, there's a lot of tomato plants in here. And there's one little row, it's called the Big Boy. And I think it was seeds from last year that I never opened up. Everything else is, as you can see, doing amazing. Those have not sprouted at all. So learning, I kind of believe that you really do need to have fresh seeds. And I've heard, you know, in lots of the videos saying you don't necessarily need to have brand new seeds from this year. You can use old seeds. I didn't know how to store them, so maybe that happened and I just didn't store them right. So the tomatoes are doing amazing. What I did with the tomatoes, actually with everything in the seed tray, was I put a heat mat. There's a seedling heat mat, and I'll take it out maybe in another video so I can show you that. But I put a heat mat underneath them to help them germinate faster, and it really did. There were seed packets that are saying, you know, it's going to take 7 to 10 days for them to germinate and sprout. The seedlings for the tomatoes, they started doing that in 3 days, 4 days. So maybe my Big Boy tomatoes are actually going to snap out of it at some point and get there. But right now they're not looking too good. They're not sprouting at all. But I have some basil in there as well. Down here, it's really hard with the lights. I'm going to have to get like an actual camera to show you all. But I have my pickling cucumbers and peas. I have jalapenos and peppers. And then down here we have the Walla Walla onions. And then this lettuce tray. I'm really excited about the lettuce tray. So the lettuce is going gangbusters. So I just sprinkled all of the lettuce seeds in there. They all sprouted. I'm 100% positive that I need to be thinning the lettuce seeds out so it gives them actual room to grow. They're not going to grow if they're all bunched up on each other. In the other light box over here, I don't know how well that's going to show up, but this is the red and the blue. And here are, take this over here where you can kind of see it. These are not going to show up if I don't turn the camera on them. These are the tulips that I've always heard you can force tulips, and usually you set them on a table in a bowl of water. I put them under the grow lights and they're growing. Learning. I have the collard greens. Wanted to show you guys the collard greens. See that red light? I mean, it makes me look crazy. So, collard greens. It's cool. It's cool outside. They're growing inside, so I'm kind of excited. So, I think that's about it for today. Again, just wanted to talk to you about, again, who I am, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And I don't know if it's going to go anywhere. I don't want to commit to saying I'm going to do one video a week because I might not have content for that. But I do want to share my adventure, and I think that if I can help somebody else in our area, then I want to do that because we need that in our area. We don't have any great resources. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye. And again, if you like it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will plan some other videos and maybe have somebody hold the camera so that you don't get weird angles. I think I did pretty good by not turning the camera too much today, so we'll see what my brother has to say about that. He had some pretty fun feedback. So, all right, everybody have a good night.